In a tiny, trans-dimensional pocket universe sit two dark and terrible gods. One red, one blue. To amuse themselves, they kidnap great heroes from across time and space. And those heroes come from one company, Blizzard. These heroes are forced to fight to the death in an endless battle with no purpose other than ladder points. This is Blizzard Dota. Seriously.
The things we're trying out, and you'll know there's a difference between the map from last year and this year, is that we're playing around with the cyber world idea. And the main idea is that this world is a gaming planet, and all the heroes are being abducted or incorporated to provide entertainment. The world we're trying to experiment with will also have a replication of terrain and areas we're familiar with, so maybe we'll see Sanctuary and other worlds from Blizzard universes. Basically, the main goal with the minions is that they're kind of unremarkable. We want the heroes to be the focus of the game. We want the minions to be completely expendable. So going through with the cyber world theme, our main focus of Blizzard Dota is making the heroes shine and everything else just complement their goal in what you're doing in the game. This is just a quick example movie, and if you're in the last panel you saw, the way the ogres work is they have camps around the map, and when you defeat them, they'll swear allegiance to your team, essentially replacing some of the mass-produced minions with sturdier, more honed fighters that will actually fight for you. It's pretty cool. And it takes a while. Just keep watching.
It's hammer time.
Man. This is the Goblin Shop. We knew that we were going to be redoing the item shop, and we decided what would be a good fit for an item merchant. Naturally, the goblins came to mind once again. They're prolific, they'll pop up anywhere, they're like cockroaches or whatever. So basically, they've taken over the cyber world's merchant needs, and they haven't really adapted that much. It's still the same shoddy goblin construction we know and love. It's a fun piece, and it really adds a lot of flavor to the serious tone of the cyber world. He's part of the acclamation of the heroes that are fighting. We wanted to give him really powerful, sweeping, kingly gestures to imply that this guy is badass until he gets developing Blizzard Dota. We started with things we already had. Kerrigan was an ideal candidate. She appeared in Wings of Liberty, and she essentially already had every function we needed to start making heroes. We just simply adapted her by giving her more team color so she had a better read from the game view camera. We also started experimenting. The Dwarven Marauder is an ideal situation where we decided we could blend the Warcraft and StarCraft universe into this character. The Marauder proportions are really close to Dwarven proportions, and by adding weapons, the spears on the back and the helmet, we got a really interesting character that we blended up. And we're definitely going to try experimenting in appropriate places with this more often. Nova is a key example of something the designers were really interested in because they wanted to see a ghost character. They had a lot of ghost abilities already implemented, and they said, we're going to use a ghost. And as artists, we asked if we could implement something a bit more visually pleasing than the standard ghost we have in the Terran army. And you'll see in some other slides, we would like to use iconic characters whenever possible, even if we're defining a hero by a basic role. Tassadar is kind of an ideal example of this. The initial build of Tassadar, he was a sentry, just a regular old robotic sentry. Not that cool to look at, and we definitely liked the Protoss vibe. We thought, it feels Protoss-like, so let's pick a better Protoss character to represent it. Luckily, we had Tassadar from Wings of Liberty, and all we had to do really was make a new crest on his back to kind of make him look more epic. So now we have a new hero, Uther. Uther was another hero that design had established early on that they wanted a healing class. They really wanted a healing-centric character, and through discussions, it seemed like the Paladin kit would be fitting best for him, and it's kind of appropriate that the first paladin character in the Warcraft lore, is also the first paladin in StarCraft Dota, representing the healing classes. Arthas, on the other hand, was a different story. Arthas is awesome. Like, let's just put him in the game. That's what we said, and they had no idea what they were going to do. There was no design agenda for a Death Knight, but the art was there, and the art had a lot of potential. So, in a kind of backwards fashion, the art came first, and then design decided to make some really cool Death Knight-centric abilities to make Arthas work. Thrall, once again, shifts over where they had a shaman character type. They said, we want to use Bloodlust, we want to use Totems, we want to use Lightning Shield. Naturally, we decided, let's use our most well-known shaman character, and we picked Thrall. When we picked Thrall, though, we already had a character that was an orc, the Blade Master. And so we decided to make Thrall a bit more distinct and change his silhouette by mounting him on a Cyberwolf. The Cyberwolf and Thrall initially were the same thing. Thrall was just mounted on a wolf. He didn't move faster. There was no gameplay functionality behind him being on a wolf. This was interesting. It's a different physical read. It's a different silhouette. It's unique. Unfortunately, what we discovered, and we learned this lesson a long time ago as well, and it came back, is that when you create a character on a mount, you have to scale it down. It says the character on the mount has to have the same pathing footprint and take up the same area as a character on foot. The bummer is Thrall becomes very small. He doesn't look epic anymore. He doesn't look like a war chief. It doesn't feel like Thrall. Why should we use Thrall? We had this problem in Warcraft 3 as well. It essentially came back to haunt us, and we really had concerns about this. We wanted it to look epic. So we discussed with the designers and voiced these concerns. We asked if the mount system could be better integrated into the game. They had already had things they were talking about with the boots, and they decided, well, maybe we can take boots out of the game and we can make the mount an actual part of the game design. And that's kind of how it came around, is we wanted to see Thrall looking his best mounted, and we wanted the mount to have more significance. And this is kind of the best of both worlds, because now we have Thrall mounted up. The mount actually signifies the fact that he'll be moving faster and has a role. And plus we can dismount Thrall and he looks just as cool stomping around smashing heads. Finally, we have the D3 Witch Doctor. I was really excited to see this character get put in the game, because this is the first time we've incorporated Diablo universe characters into Blizzard Dota. And this guy has a bit more of a subtle blending of universes. You can see he has a Troll Witch Doctor head as his familiar totem, as well as a Zergling skull on the back of his hip. We're really looking forward to mixing these universes more. There's a lot of potential here. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is a character that we have in the works right now. It's a Goblin Tinker. The Goblin Tinker is going to be a construction-based hero. He's going to build all sorts of turrets and launch pads, stuff like that. His ultimate ability is his armor. He jumps inside of it and it becomes a Goblin-style marine suit. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're basically making a Goblin SCV, and we'll see how it plays out. The model was not prepared for BlizzCon. Stupid, I know. But Illidan is really cool, and he's on deck right now. They're concepting out his hero kit, and you can see from the animations coming up, he's going to be a really fun hero, and it's going to be cool seeing him and Arthas square off. So thank you for your time, Blizzard Convention. I guess we're going to Q&A.
Like Stitches is doing here in this video, if you lean on your tower too much, you're going to see, first, the minions are doing a lot of damage to the tower, but you also see it's about to run out of ammunition, so it'll actually power down. So now Stitches is in a lot of trouble. Not only is he going to have to run off and not get killed, he's lost a tower very early in the game, and that's going to give the other team a very large advantage. It has that tension, it has that positional gameplay, you have to time it well. But it also makes a lot more sense because you understand why you're winning or losing. If you're getting your globes and denying the enemy, you'll have a lot more health and mana. And it'll be pretty obvious why. Whereas like if you're getting last hit and you're getting this gold bonus, it's going to be several minutes.
So you can see here, our heroes are preparing to go into battle. After a brief 2-second channel time, they actually will mount up. As you can see, while mounted, the heroes actually move a lot faster. This gets you the gameplay of what boots get you as far as strategic value goes, because you can respond to threats, you can get to places a lot faster. But it's actually a lot easier to respond to like a lane being pushed, and it also gets you into places that the enemy would not expect. So I've talked a little bit about siege heroes. Let's see one in action. This is Warfield is actually sieging up, and now you can see his auto attack is actually outranging the tower. As the minions come in close, he's going to drop a bunch of mines and lay down a bunch of suppressive firepower that do a lot of very low DPS, but it's AoE effects, so it's great against minions. As you can see here, like, you know, Warfield's minions are actually coming up, but Warfield actually didn't really need it. He can actually take out this tower all by himself. If there were DPS...
So you come out to the Merc camp, and if you attack the ogres in the camp, they'll fight back. Usually it's in the mid-game, you need a couple of teammates to help you out with this. I'm kind of cheating here. And then once the ogres are dead, you'll see you start capturing the totem to the right. And then once the totem's captured, you see the ogres are very impressed with your fighting prowess, so they're going to join your cause. Now, the enemy can come back and capture this from you, but when you capture it, you'll see one melee minion and one ranged minion have been replaced by ogres. And they're much tougher. You see the ranged ogre in the back is actually doing area of effect damage. So what would normally be a very even fight here is actually becomes very lopsided just with one camp. So if you capture a couple of these camps and the enemy doesn't respond, the game's going to start to end very quickly.
Here you can see is our Stone Zealot, which I believe that our artists actually want to change into some like mechanical cyber ninja, but that's totally up to them. I mean, I kind of like the Stone Zealot. So you can see here it actually takes our 3 high-level heroes quite a long time to destroy this Stone Zealot, and it's still a lot of commitment in that they have to stay out of the lanes. However, the difference is though that when you actually kill it, he thinks that you're awesome. And then he restores all of his health, and he actually walks down the lane to go and fight for you. Now, you can imagine at this point that the enemy is kind of shaking in their boots because there's a global announcement, and you can see this like red skull moving down the minimap, and so it really just forces a team fight. And then this guy, like, he kicks a lot of ass. I mean, like, you fought him earlier, so you kind of see what he does. Like, he actually outranges, like, minions and stuff. And by himself, he actually outranges towers. If the enemy team does not respond in time, you know, they're going to be pushed all the way back to their tower. We think that this is a more exciting gameplay than just getting a buff.